There were two major events in the world of boxing very recently. Bud defeated Errol Spence Jr. to become undisputed welterweight king, the first man to secure all 4 titles in 2 divisions. The same week, former undisputed bantamweight champion Naoya Inoue won the WBC and WBO belts and in the super bantamweight division. The Japanese confidently took the belt in the 4th weight class for himself, and who knows how high the fighter's ambitions are and where his samurai code will lead. He is compared to being the great Manny Pacquiao in terms of achievements. And what do you think? Will Naoya be able to surpass the Filipinos' achievements? Share in the comments. Today, we decided to go deeper into the career of the Japanese monster and remember the toughest, most beautiful knockouts performed by this fighter. Make yourself comfortable and get ready to watch. You're on Boxing Blitz. Let's go. 10th place, Ricardo Rodriguez. Kicking off our top with the bout from 2017, Naoya has not yet moved up to bantamweight and defended the WBO belt in the super flyweight. The fighter defended the belt 4 times without feeling out any of the challengers. The monster in the person of the Mexican Ricardo Rodriguez with a record of 16-3, who owned the WBO Latino super fly belt. The fighter wasn't of the highest level, but due to the lack of big names in the division, there was no choice, and Naoya took the fight to deliver another spectacular knockout to his collection. The champion started actively pressing his opponent and throwing punches from the very beginning of the fight, driving him around the ring and showing him the level of a champion. The opponent tried to fight back, but all attempts looked like poking a mad bull with a stick. Naoya was bored with this easy fight and decided to put an end to Ricardo's suffering. In the 3rd round, he staggered his opponent with a right side punch and later scored 2 more left hooks in a row. Rodriguez was able to get up but then immediately went down from a single left hook. It was clear to the referee that nothing was going to happen for the Mexican in this fight, and he stopped the beating. Another title defense and a beautiful knockout, and it's also worth noting that after this meeting, the challenger did not win a single fight and left the sport on a series of defeats. Therefore, we can safely say that Naoya took the soul of his former opponent. 9th place, Michael Das Marinas. One of Inoue's bantamweight title defenses. After Loney, there was no worthy opponents left. And if they were, they had no great desire to fight the monster. In order to not sit idle, Wen was picked up in an opponent in the face of Filipino Michael Das Marinas with a record of 30-2, and his main achievement was the IBO belt. He was ranked number 1 in the IBF rankings but had not beaten any worthy opponent. The rig became bigger as few expected the difference to be so big, but the samurai spirit cannot be broken by the difference in height and length of arms. Monster from the first moments set such a furious pace that the champion could not oppose anything. A minute and a half after the fight began, Naoya delivered a knockdown. McDonald got up, but some 10 seconds later, he was under pressure from the monster and was back on the ground from numerous punches. That's how you enter the territory and build up your dominance. 7th place, Karun Jarupianlard. 3 title defenses in the super flyweight division. We have already mentioned that many contenders in this weight class were not worthy opponents, but this fight we could not avoid. In September 2016, he faced a boxer from Thailand, Karun Jarupianlard. The monster fought quite aggressively in his own manner, and the opponent was not ready for such a level of skill, but time after time he snapped back. The opponent was very tough and would engage in open slaughter with the strongest puncher in the division. Naoya's pressure was mutual and Karun was not backing down, exchanging in engages. The fight dragged on and both fighters started to tire and went for the 10th round. The champion has always been known for his endless cardio, but here he was slowed down by the constant punches on his opponent. However, the Thai tired even more, and during one of the exchanges, he finally went down from an accurate straight right punch. Not an easy fight for the champion, but got the coveted knockout. 6th place, Paul Butler. The monster's last fight at bantamweight and a fateful one for him. Since Naoya moved to a new category in 2018, he has set up his own goal to become an undisputed world champion. The fighter has gone through all his opponents, and in the final of such a thorny path stood Brit Paul Butler, who owned the WBO belt. Butler had not only recently won the belt and immediately took the fight against the most dangerous man in the division, but when Naoya was such a high goal in front of him, be prepared to be another knockout body in the collection. It was the fight that made Naoya Inoue the undisputed boxing champion of the world. 5th place, Emmanuel Rodriguez. Semi-finals of the World Boxing Super Series, a tournament bracket completely filled with the most elite fighters in the category, was supposed to be the toughest test of a fighter's career. But the start was easier than many thought. Emmanuel Rodriguez had a clean record of 19 knockout. The first round was relatively equal in terms of action, with a slight edge in favor of the Japanese. In the second, for his elders into his head with the left hook. The fighter got up, but he was knocked down twice more with punches to the liver. Thus, Inoue avenged his father and reached the finals of the big event. 4th place, Stephen Fulton. So here we come to the last fight for the moment. After the victory over Butler, the Japanese in the post-match interview immediately stated that he intends to leave the belt and move up to a new category for new challenges. No one doubted that a fighter of such a magnitude would be given a chance to fight for the belt immediately, and the issue of the opponent was only temporary. The opponent was Stephen Fulton, who held the WBC and WBO belts. It seemed that this fighter will definitely be able to cause problems to the Monster due to his speed and style. Constant movement, clinch, and good technique could break the fighter's defense, but he had his own opinion and did what he always does. From the body, and after another such attack, slammed a right punch into his unprotected head. Stephen touched the ground with his glove, but his another solid performance that cemented the Japanese's legacy, and the spectacular knockout was the cherry on the cake. Third place, Nonito Donaire 2. One of the main and crucial confrontations in the career of the Japanese fighter. At the end of 2019, the final of the Boxing Super Series took place, where the best fighters of the weight class in the face of Naoya Inoue and Nonito Donaire faced each other. The legend from the Philippines, even as an age fighter, showed an incredible level of skills and speed and ran through all the young fighters, becoming the WBA Super Champion. The audience expected another knockout from the Monster, but got the best fight of the year. The veteran gave the toughest fight of the fighter's career, but Naoya passed the hard test of his career and then defended the available belts 3 times. Few people wanted to fight him, but an old friend Nonito showed up and accepted the fight. Their fight first was competitive. People still remembered the emotions from that meeting, so they gladly accepted the organization of this rematch. Since then, the Filipino has managed to defeat 2 good opponents and become the WBC champion. The second meeting promised another spectacular fight, but Naoya made adjustments to his preparation and wore tougher gloves than usual. Donaire was already down, but Naoya added a left hook on top as well, finally putting a stop to his opponent's condition, a knockout that overcame the difficulties of the first fight. Second place, Juan Carlos Payano. The second bout of the Japanese and bantamweight division and the start of the Boxing Super Series. Naoya entered as a big favorite, although he was facing former WBA champion Juan Carlos Payano at the start. The Dominican had a 20-0 record, had won a title, and had good technique. No one was going to be ceremonious with the Japanese, and he was put against a good fighter. However, the Japanese immediately signaled his intentions for the tournament in a flashy manner. A little time to take aim, and a minute after the start of the fight, he landed accurate punches to Payano's head. The opponent fell to the ground unconscious. A beautiful finish and the award for Knockout of the Year. At the time, Inoue already had 2 big straight wins in the category, all in less than 1 full round. Great skill and another soul taken away, because after their meeting, the Dominican lost 3 times in 6 subsequent fights, after which he gradually reduced the level of opposition. Even then, it was clear who would carry off the Muhammad Ali trophy. First place, Jason Maloney. Winning the Boxing Super Series, the champion had to defend his titles. The opponent was Jason Maloney and subscribe to the channel. Boxing Blitz was with you. Bye.